don't mind the mess. I spent a little time cleaning up, but not too much because I want to get right into the programming of this thing. So what we have here is a working program, which is kind of nice. It actually was adapted from not only the moving art, but I had a program made years ago for my other radar dishes and the old layouts that I still had. So I grabbed that one because, of course, that has up, down, back, and forth, which is what this thing's supposed to do. And the moving art only has horizontal spinning. So I combined both programs and got this. And so the programming is relatively good. I'm going to be error testing it for a while, but there's not much to it, so there shouldn't be too much error testing. 2 motors, a light output, light sensor on the back here, so let's turn it so you can see it. I put a new wire on this today, so really quick, because I don't have any more light sensors around me, and I have a whole package of broken light sensors over there. So I just did that really quickly. I was going to film it, but no. You've seen enough of my ugly mug. So 3 motor outputs are all being used. Motor horizontal, motor vertical, and the light, because the light has to turn on. And then 1 sensor for the light sensor. So what we have is that as soon as you cross the stream, it does something. So it's random in that it still does the direction that the other my moving art did. I wanted to keep that in here. So if it was turning left the first time you swipe the sensor, then it'll turn right the second time you swipe the sensor. And if it's going up the first time, it goes down the second time. But since the actual program goes left for a variable amount of time, stops, and then goes right for a variable amount of time, and then it goes up for a variable amount of time, and then down for a variable amount of time. Random time. It'll end up like this sometimes. So if you go like that, it's going to go right. Go like that, it's going to go left. It's fine. It's fine. So this thing is pretty much done. I'm pretty happy with it. I just have to build an enclosure that's spacey looking. I also put this little piece in the back so the dish won't go all the way over. It gets to about 89 degrees and it gets stuck. So I don't mind that. See, it gets up there and it can't go anywhere. So that was a quick addition. It doesn't look too pretty, but it stops it from breaking its back, basically, going all the way over to the other side. So I'm going to build a few things and see what happens. I'm going to try to finish it up in a semi-classic space building radar dish kind of thing. I don't know if it's going to be like the command center. I would have loved to see this on top of the command center, but this is far too big to put on top of the command center. So the 926. So it's going to be a standalone kind of an ad hoc building. I'm going to build, probably going to be some trans yellow in it. Definitely going to be blue in it. I don't know how much of the gizmos I'm going to hide, because I think people want to see it too. So I might just put a kind of a skeleton bunch of classic space pieces around it so you can still see how this thing operates. You can still see the gears inside here. You can still see the motors turning and the worm to 24s. That's my plan. I have zero idea what it's going to look like. But I also have zero idea where I'm going to put it. I know I'm going to be putting the sensor I'm going to mention at the show, kids loved the moving art just because of the, as soon as they figured it out, because they were waving their hands like this. And I'm going to probably change the word wave to swipe. Just swipe your hand across. Swipe your hand across. Because you're like, the younger they are, the younger the kids were, the faster they move their hand back and forth across the sensor. They're also very trepidatious, and that's why I really respected that show. Because the kids were very appreciative and careful with, like they were kind of way over here when they could have just gone like right over the sensor. So they didn't want to touch anything. So, but in the end, overall, when the kids found it, they loved it. And so I think this one's going to be another value-added service to the layout. I might change it so it doesn't go up that high, because the issue is that, of course, if it's still spinning to go higher and it's stuck, you hear the motor spinning, but the thing's not going to get any higher because, of course, it's stopped. Horizontal, it can spin around till the cows come home. But vertical, it has two limitations, bottom and top. And if it's at the top and it's still spinning, it still spins. I didn't put a sensor in there that says, oh, you're at the top now, you can stop spinning the motor. I'm going to also, I left the moving art bit in there that if nobody touches it for like 150 seconds, whatever that works out to be, lots, like 3 minutes, it'll go by itself for a while and then stop. So it will move occasionally on its own. I'm not going to wait for it because it'll be 3 minutes from now. But the technical part is done ish. I'm going to see when I start building the classic spacey goodness around it, how much I have to modify this. I'm hoping I don't have to modify almost anything. I'm just going to put classy space piece around it. Also, it has to be removable, so it has to be kind of self-contained and be able to put the wires on. So I have to color code the wires, which is absolutely fine. So yeah, it worked well. I'm going to say that it absolutely worked well. The one thing I do want to point out, in case you didn't know, is, oh my god, I feel bad. I am tired. I want to show this really quick. So, and explain it. That piece came off. I have to fix that. So, it's not that secure on there. Actually, this thing can come right off. There we go. So, the light and the sensor have to be a unit, and this is why. So, basically, I'm pulling the light sensor. I'm just pulling it all the time, and if it pulls it, and then 5 milliseconds later, the difference of the light sensor reading is more than 50 raw data, 50 points above what the sensor was, that's when it's going to. And if you don't have this and you just use ambient light, you'll never get it, because you put your hand in here, you put your hand here, it doesn't know, because your hand is the same color or the same brightness as the rest of the room, because that's what the light sensor does. The light sensor just pulls what it's sensing. But if you have a light shining straight into it, then you break the stream, and that's why you need the light. That's why I need it for the layouts, for the train and the monorail loops when it crosses the stream. I like saying that because it reminds me of Ghostbusters, but it does cross the light stream coming from the light brick. You need it. You can't just rely on the ambient light of the room, because if your light sensor is here and you put your hand there, it doesn't change the value. It really doesn't. This is not like a depth sensor. It's not like a sonic sensor that came with the NXT. It is a light sensor, and so this is equal to that, to the light sensor. It doesn't change. If you hold it right up to the screen of your laptop, sure, but then your laptop has to be there. So the variableness of the light sensor is eliminated by putting a light stream, and then it gets to be 150 points difference between the light on and the light blocked. And so I just changed by 50. It pulls it. If it changes by greater than 50, then it knows that something crossed the stream and to run the program. So light sensors on their own. I will say that when I used to do robot competitions, and we had to detect the white or black square or the white or black line in our player board, that was relatively okay, because the light sensor was basically 2 millimeters above the playboard, and the red light that shines out of this light sensor reflected off the black and reflected off the white, so I didn't have to have a light shining onto the playboard with the light sensor. Although there was a few robots that I made where I did have a light shining onto the playboard, so the light sensor could detect the black and white. I just found it to be less random having a light shining on the board, so that the light sensor could pick up the white, red, and the white, black, and the gray board that it was. So the light definitely helps. I mean, this is old school. My friend Jeff used the sonic sensor, so when you wave your hand in front of the sonic sensor detected that there's something there just by sound waves. So the room could be pitch black, and it wouldn't matter. You just wave it, and the thing's gonna work. the other thing for the light sensor is this thing is going to be in lights out. It's going to be in lights out, and the light shining permanently onto the sensor, it doesn't matter if the room's pitch white or pitch black, the sensor's going to read the same values because the light's shining straight into it. I learned that back in my RCX robot competition days, and it works well. It's just a stupid little fickle thing of the sensors, and the light sensor itself will detect ambient light. Like if I pointed at the light bulb over there, it will read a higher number than if I'm pointing at the black here. But again, I don't want that kind of variableness. I want a specific, you shine this thing straight into it, the numbers do not fluctuate too much, and as soon as you break it, they go boom, right up, and it's fantastic. So anyway, this is working, the program is there and saved. I'm going to call it a night. Just give you a quick boo at this thing again, take the wires off it so they're not in the way. It's a very, very simplistic setup. The motors go right into the worm to 24. The motor goes right into the worm to 24. This worm gear down there is the 24. That gears it right down. So I was doing a 8 to 24, 8 to 24 to gear it down, but also have a huge gear train going on to get it slow enough because the motors are fast, and this thing was just zipping around and zipping up and down. Just replacing like 8 gears with this 2 worm to 24s, it's perfectly fine. And I used the built-in ones this time. I usually do my standard worm to 24 setup that I have, but it's just a lot easier. One piece, throw it in. And then it's just the 2 crown gears on the inside, one to go for the spinning horizontal and one for the vertical. So I'm going to spend some time building something around it, but that will be not for a while because I have a garage to finish. So I'm going to go work in the garage. Those of you who know me and seen our pictures on Facebook, we're redoing the garage, making it better, safer, sounder, more resilient, less bugs getting in the house, less mice getting in the house, and more insulation. So I'm gonna be working on that all weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna be back down here. It doesn't matter. I've been down here enough, and there's lots of videos for you to watch. So, so that's it. That's all. I honestly hope everybody else there is doing well. I kind of miss talking to you guys. I have all my preloaded videos that are dropping every day, and they're still 3 weeks out, so to the end of June. So this is be dropped today, and you'll have more videos of me from last month talking about what I was doing last month tomorrow morning. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I'll wait till I get everything caught up, and then I'll start putting things up live again. I had a lot to say. I got a lot of stuff. I still have a lot more stuff to do here. The stuff I want to video for you guys and bore the crap out of you, but not tonight. So there you go. I'm going to go to bed. You guys all stay safe, take care, and I will talk to you soon.